All right, welcome back, everyone. You just crushed it with the 30 Days to Sell Cars program.
Yeah. Congrats to everyone out there.
I mean, talk about a sales surge.
Ooh.
But, and this is a big one, how do we keep that momentum going?
Right. You can't just hit the gas for 30 days and then coast.
Exactly. We need to avoid that post-blitz slump. So today, we're going to deep dive into exactly that. How do we maintain momentum after a successful sales push? Especially after something as intense as the 30 Days to Sell Cars program?
Sounds good.
What do you think? How do we frame this challenge? Because it really is unique.
You know, you're right. The 30 days to sell cars, it's not a one-time thing.
Right. It's not just like,
Oh,
okay, we did it. We're done.
No. It's more of a philosophy, a way to approach your sales. It's something you can build on, make it part of your dealership's DNA.
And I think that's a great point to start with because it means this wrap up, this resetting, it's not just about taking a break.
It's about using what you've learned to make the next 30 days even better.
Now, the source material we're looking at today talks about a team debrief.
Hmm.
But we don't want this to be like a boring post-mortem.
Oh, absolutely not. No one wants to sit through a lecture after working so hard.
So how do we make it something that's both energizing and insightful?
Mm-hmm.
Like celebrate the wins, but also like pull out the key lessons.
Think of it like, okay, picture this.
Yeah.
A victory lap. Okay. You and your team, you just finished an incredible race. You're pumped, you're excited. You get together, you share those stories, you talk about what worked, what got you across that finish line.
I like that victory lap.
Yeah,
Celebration, but with a purpose.
exactly.
All right, so we've got our victory lap meeting set up. What kind of questions should we be asking?
All right, first things first, you got to acknowledge those wins. Ask your team what strategies really blew the doors off.
Yeah.
What were the moments that made you say, yes, this is working, Share those stories, celebrate them, and then you can shift gears a little bit. Ask, okay, where did we get stuck? What roadblocks did we hit?
Right, because there's always going to be some bumps in the road.
Always. And that's okay. It's about learning from them. So dig into those challenges, figure out what can be tweaked or improved, and that's how you make the next 30 days even stronger.
And of course, we got to talk about the numbers, right?
Data.
Total leads, appointments booked, cars sold. Got to shout those wins from the rooftops.
Absolutely. Numbers don't lie. And when you see those big wins up on a board, in a report, whatever it might be, it reminds everyone what's possible, keeps that motivation high.
Okay, I'm pumped just thinking about this meeting.
Yeah.
But let's be real. Dealership life is hectic.
It is.
So how do we make sure this debrief doesn't turn into a 3-hour marathon?
That's a great point. You got to be mindful of everyone's time. Aim for like 20 to 30 minutes max.
Yeah.
Keep the energy high, get those insights, and then boom, back to business.
Okay, so the team's pumped. We've got the data. We've extracted some golden nuggets of wisdom. Now what?
Transparency, my friend.
Transparency.
You got to share the results. Put together a nice, clean report, a document, a presentation, something that showcases everything that happened during your 30-day blitz, and share it with the entire team.
Okay. So like lead sources, conversion rates.
Yeah. Include the numbers, but also some of those great customer testimonials, those positive stories. It keeps everyone in the loop, builds trust, and, shared ownership of the success.
And when everyone's on the same page, it's so much easier to move forward together.
Exactly.
Now, I'm curious, we've got all this data, we've got these insights, but how does a dealership manager actually use this to make, real concrete improvements?
Okay, let's say your report shows that, for example, your YouTube ads brought in a ton of leads.
Great.
But your conversion rate from those leads was low. That tells you something, right?
That's a clue.
It's a clue. Time to investigate. Maybe your landing page isn't aligned with the ad. Maybe your targeting needs some work. It's about connecting the dots between the data and then taking action.
So it's not just about seeing the numbers. It's about understanding what story they're telling you.
Yes. Data tells a story.
And speaking of tools and data, our CRM plays a big role in all of this, right?
Oh, the CRM, it's your best friend in this whole process. It's like your central command center. So after that 30-day push, it's time to do some, spring cleaning.
I like that, spring cleaning.
Yeah. Make sure all those new leads are logged correctly, contact info is updated, closed deals are categorized properly. A clean CRM is a happy CRM.
And a happy CRM makes for a happy sales team.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about, tidying up and prepping, we can't forget about our marketing engine.
True.
What are some key things to keep in mind as we head into the next 30 days?
Ask yourself, are my email campaigns ready to go?
Right.
Is the ad copy fresh and engaging? Do our online ads reflect what we're actually selling? It's all about a smooth transition. You don't want to lose any of that momentum you built up.
It's like making sure the race car is tuned up and ready to hit the track again.
Ex-
Now, as we look ahead to the next 30 days, it's also a good time to consider who's our next target audience. Are there new customer segments we should be reaching?
The car market, it's always changing, always evolving. You got to stay ahead of the curve. Look at the trends, who's buying, what are they looking for? Maybe it's time to shift your focus a little. Maybe you target a younger demographic on social media.
Right.
Maybe you highlight those fuel-efficient models. It's about diversifying, staying adaptable.
So it sounds like constant adaptation and optimization. That's the key here. This isn't a once-a-month activity.
Definitely not. It's got to be ingrained in your process. Encourage your team to, keep notes. What are customers asking? What objections are coming up? What's working really well? Capture those insights in real time, and you're constantly fine-tuning your approach. You're always learning, always getting better.
It's like those tiny adjustments a driver makes during a race to gain that extra edge.
Yeah, perfect analogy.
So we've talked about a lot today. We've talked about celebrating wins, digging into the data, and fine-tuning our approach. What's the key takeaway here?
Think of it this way. The end of each 30 days to sell cars cycle, it's not a finish line, it's a pit stop. It's a time to refuel, to adjust your strategy, and get ready to race even harder.
And by doing that, you're not just selling cars, you're building a dealership that's built for success.
Long-term success.
And that brings us to our final thought for today. What's one small tweak you can make based on everything we've talked about that will make the biggest impact in your next 30-day cycle? Think about it, put it into action, and get ready to see those sales numbers soar.
Good luck, everyone.
Until next time.
See ya.